They were always smiling and happy.
Just seemed like this was the one.
Then things took a turn for the worse. He was not who he said he was.
Could he kill her?
Who is this man I'm married to?
This is betrayal.
Sunday night on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We want you to have a great day, everyone, and take a little time to enjoy the view.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Emergency crews are responding to a situation in Waldo County. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. Officials are investigating a fatal fire in Mapleton, and 5 teenagers are facing charges following a string of vehicle break-ins in Madison. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Friday afternoon. We have a small craft advisory that is up until Saturday at around 8 a.m. We're dealing with some active wave heights at this moment in time with an area of low pressure that is right nearby. Here we are. We have the rain farther off towards the south and west, and that's providing some needed rainfall for these drought-stricken areas. It may be too much in a short amount of time. We may have to watch for a little bit of flooding in these areas. Here we are as we do zoom things out right now, and you can see that area of low pressure rotating, not really moving all that much. It will track off to the east and kind of fizzle out as it does move. But meanwhile, Futurecast showing the rain clearing up. Notice how things start to really clear overnight with the clouds too. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine on the way. So gusty winds backing off as well this afternoon. We might get a few sporadic gusts, but overall nothing too crazy on the way. So for today, mid-60s, mostly cloudy, still a few sporadic rain showers, and that north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight, we have mid-40s on the way, partly cloudy with that west breeze at about 5 miles per hour. The hourly forecast moving forward, so mostly cloudy, still some sporadic rain showers, temperatures in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. We have breaking news this noon. Emergency crews are at Robbins Lumber on Main Street South in Searsmont. There are reports of a fire and multiple injuries. We have a reporter on the way to the scene, and we'll have more information as details become available. Vice President J.D. Vance touched down in Bangor Thursday afternoon. J.D. Vance told listeners Maine is one of the worst states in the nation when it comes to fraud, and he launched accusations at state lawmakers of ignoring the problem. Our Grace Blanchard was there and has the details.
Vice President of the United States of America, J.D. Vance.
Vice President J.D. Vance welcomed by a large crowd in Bangor as he made a stop in the Queen City, with the topic of fraud taking center stage.
What you have in Maine is a festering problem where people have been taken advantage of and they've been stolen from, and your government hasn't done anything about it.
The vice president has been assigned by President Trump to lead an anti-fraud task force, cracking down on states like Minnesota, California, and Maine.
If they're the gold medalist and the silver medalist, I heard somebody shout out New York. Maybe New York is the bronze medalist, but let me be honest, maybe Maine is the bronze medalist.
Vance pointed towards a federal audit released earlier this year that found Maine made at least $45 million in improper Medicaid payments. He also voiced support for former Governor Paul LePage, who said if elected to Congress, he would make addressing fraud a priority.
When the government wastes taxpayer money, it's working families like you who pay the price.
Vance shared that the administration has sent letters to all 50 states, warning that states could lose funding if they don't get serious about fighting fraud.
The reality is the federal government is going to act, even if our Democrat colleagues don't care, want to put their head in the sand on this issue, want to refuse to act. That's their choice, but it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen.
The threat to the Medicaid program is not us keeping fraudsters away from the Medicaid program. It's the fraudsters raiding that program to begin with. That's the threat to the Medicaid program.
The vice president says going after fraud is not a partisan or political issue. The administration is willing to work with any state official, Democratic or Republican, over the next 2 years to address what he described as a pressing issue. In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Across the street from Vance's event, a crowd of protesters gathered voicing their opposition to the vice president and the Trump administration. As our Alex Schley tells us, despite some tense moments, the demonstration remained peaceful.
Protesters lined Main Avenue, waving signs, chanting, and making their frustration with the current administration clear. Many who attended say they felt compelled to show up and make their voices heard.
I can't just sit home on my couch and do nothing about it.
I am here today because I think it's really important to have a very visible, very audible, loud, active pushback against what the government is currently trying to do in just about every arena.
He's helping Trump, who is in the Epstein files more than Epstein himself.
Several candidates running for governor and Congress also made an appearance, standing in solidarity with the crowd and echoing many of the same concerns.
The people of Maine have had enough with what's going on with this administration. The economy's upside down. We're in an illegal war, and J.D. Vance coming here to sell what? To sell more of the same.
It's so important in this moment of crisis for our democracy, with this administration, which is the most corrupt in our history, that we come and demonstrate, stand in solidarity and have our voices heard against this, because it's wrong.
Rebecca Hartwell attended Thursday's event, calling herself a peacekeeper and working to de-escalate confrontation and ensure the demonstration remained peaceful.
We all have free speech, at least for the moment, ostensibly. So they have every right in the world to come over and ask whatever questions they want, but we also have the right to refuse to give them the rage-baiting content that they are here to get.
Democratic candidate for governor, Shenna Bellows, says the message from Thursday's crowd was unmistakable.
Hate has no home here.
In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Before Vice President Vance took the podium, two Democrats, one a candidate for governor, the other for Congress, gathered with supporters to shine a light on reproductive rights and accusations of fraud against our state. Our Doug Banks has those details.
In response to Vice President J.D. Vance visiting Bangor on Thursday, Democratic candidates for public office spoke about abortion rights and the fraud accusations levied against the state of Maine. A U.S. court recently granted the state of Louisiana's request to temporarily suspend the abortion medication mifepristone from being sent to patients through the mail. The U.S. Supreme Court responded by reversing that decision.
You know, as governor, we need to take this on and tell them that this is the state of Maine, and we're going to do what we need to do to protect our health care.
The vice president's main talking point on Thursday was fraud. Back in January, a federal audit found that Maine made at least $45 million in improper fee-for-service Medicaid payments for rehabilitative and community support services provided to children diagnosed with autism.
Months ago, I broke with my party and called for an independent commission to audit the Maine Care program. I believe in accountability. I believe Mainers deserve to know where every tax dollar is being spent, and that isn't partisan, that's just good government. And I've been saying it long before J.D. Vance booked a flight to Bangor.
Other speakers included State Representative Amy Rader, Dr. Julia McDonald with the Mabel Wadsworth Center, and Bangor School Board member Mallory Cook. In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
One person has died following a house fire in Aroostook County. According to the Department of Public Safety, crews were called to the scene of a structure fire around 5 o'clock Thursday morning at 258 Carvel Road in Mapleton. The department says as firefighters fought the flames, responders located a deceased adult female victim inside the residence. The victim has not yet been positively identified. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Augusta will determine the identity of the victim as well as the manner and cause of death. The State Fire Marshal's office is investigating. The house is a total loss. The department said no additional information is available at this time. The Maine Drug Enforcement Agency arrested 5 people following the execution of a search warrant in Caribou on Thursday, May 7th, after a month-long investigation into the suspected drug trafficking at a residence on Sweden Street in Caribou. MDEA agents said the Maine State Police tactical team executed a search warrant there. They say they seized over 200 grams of fentanyl and a sawed-off 20-gauge shotgun. The 5 arrested all face charges of aggravated trafficking of scheduled drugs. 49-year-old Ariel Rosado, 49-year-old Jose Rosado, 41-year-old Justin Murphy, 33-year-old Andrea Therntham, and 29-year-old Tiana McLaughlin, all of Caribou, were arrested. Ariel Rosado, Trethantham, and Murphy also face probation violations. A Waterville man was sentenced in U.S. District Court in Bangor for attempting to send obscene materials to a minor. Court records show that 39-year-old Neil Wing was in communication with an undercover detective posing as a 12-year-old girl in an online chat platform. Their conversations became sexual in nature, with Wing sending explicit materials to what he thought was a child. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison, to be followed by 3 years of supervised release. 5 teenagers are facing charges following a string of vehicle break-ins in Madison. The Somerset County Sheriff's Office says it received several reports Sunday about vehicles that have been broken into and 2 homes that had their windows broken. The investigation led police to 5 juveniles between the ages of 13 and 16 years old. All of them have been charged with burglary, theft, burglary to a motor vehicle, and criminal mischief. In April of last year, local baby Elania Rose Campbell passed away at 10 months old from a rare genetic skin disease with no known cure. It's commonly referred to as butterfly disease due to blisters that form from the slightest touch. It's also called the worst disease you've never heard of, as it only affects roughly 500,000 people worldwide. But her story of resilience sparked a community to join arms in raising awareness and hopefully find a cure. It also started a memorial walk that will be held later this month. The second annual Elania's Hope for Healing Memorial Walk will start at 10 a.m. on the Bangor waterfront on Saturday, May 30th. The walk will go across the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge onto Brewer River Walk, leading to the pink butterfly bench dedicated to her. According to the Campbell family, funds from this year's walk will go toward finding a cure.
We hope that people remember Ellie. I know that her story made a really big impact on the world, and I just don't want people to forget.
And to just get more people to know about the disease and learn Ellie's story.
Not every case of EB is terminal, but every case is a lot of pain. And the more money we can raise towards research, the more we can get closer to a life without pain.
The Memorial Walk is being organized by a group called Eliana's Army. Last year's walk garnered around $30,000 for EB research. To sign up, visit this story on our website, foxbangor.com. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, Iran war tensions are escalating. We'll be right back.
Up and Smoke Fireworks is family-owned with a huge selection including Brothers and Showtime, Time Bandit, and Black Hat brands. We will share our knowledge with you, then go have a blast. Up and Smoke Fireworks, 173 West Main Street, Searsport.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stairlifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stairlift, the world's leader in stairlifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stairlifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stairlift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stairlift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stairlift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
People ask me all the time, does Lowry & Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
Judge Judy never misses a beat.
This is my playpen.
Let me stop you.
Don't stop me ever. Is not an answer. I love this job.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC 7.
Up and Spoke Fireworks is family owned with a huge selection including Brothers and Showtime, Time Bandit, and Black Hat brands. We will share our knowledge with you, then go have a blast. Up and Spoke Fireworks, 173 West Main Street, Searsport.
Spring is here and the rebates are huge with Valley Home Services. With the quiet and efficient Fujitsu air stage units, there's never been a better time to buy. And with efficiency main rebates up to $9,500. Plus, Valley Home is offering an additional promotional discount of $750 per system until May 31st. Best of all, everyone qualifies for a rebate even if you've received one before. Spring into home comfort and incredible rebates with Valley Home Services.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The Strait of Hormuz is back in focus after a series of increasingly hostile moves by the Iranian military over the past 48 hours. Correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has more.
Things are heating up in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Past 48 hours, an Indian-flagged ship was sunk off the coast of Oman. Another vessel seized off the UAE coast and taken to Iran. The U.S. Navy remains on high alert as tensions continue to escalate. It comes as Iran is grappling with overflowing oil supply as the U.S. tightens its blockade.
There's no activity there. They're having to ration electricity. And we're even seeing these weird oil slicks in the Gulf as if they're dumping oil.
President Trump said Friday he's still pushing for a diplomatic solution, but time could be running out. He just rejected another Iranian proposal because there was no guarantee the country would give up its nuclear program.
I call it the nuclear dust. I want to get it. And they agreed to it, but then they took it back, but they'll agree to it eventually.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi agreed the nuclear issue is the main sticking point at the moment. He says the idea of Iran giving up its enrichment is, quote, not under negotiation at this time. But he also claims the differences go even deeper than that, and President Trump's social media activity is making it harder to get a deal.
We have no trust to Americans. This is a fact. Every day is different from the other day, from yesterday. A tweet today is different from yesterday's tweet.
On Friday, officials here in the UAE announced they're building a second oil pipeline to bypass the Strait of Hormuz and double export capacity beginning next year. In Dubai, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
The beloved Bangor historic building has gotten a major facelift. The Thomas A. Hill House and home to the Bangor Historical Society. Our Callie Warren tells us about the exciting new changes.
A facelift, a foundation lift.
Bangor's Thomas A. Hill House is part of the Queen City's living history.
I mean, the bones of the house dates to 1835.
And after years of planning and months of work, it's gotten a little freshening up.
It was holding up pretty well from 1835, but it was time for a much needed overhaul.
The Historical Society headquarters unveiled their new portico Thursday. Welcoming people in as they prep for a busy summer season.
And now we're continuing the checklist of getting everything painted back again and our grass getting repaired to celebrate the 250th of the country this summer.
To prepare for America's Big Birthday Bash, they also have a host of historic artifacts awaiting visitors inside the house.
We've done some painting, a little bit of painting, touch up here and there for this year's exhibit and the anniversary. We have artifacts from the actual war, which will be on display.
After the resurfacing, the Historical Society is ready to welcome the local community for a semi-quincentennial celebration.
Bangor Historical Society is such an important part of our community and such a community asset. This house is such an important community asset. It really makes a statement about how we care for our community now that it's all in better repair.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, sleep may impact aging. We've got details when we return.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
I got hurt in a car accident. Why should I call the twos?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I don't take tiny checks. I get my clients big checks. We got a client who fractured their pelvis, a big check for $300,000. And another client broke multiple bones, and we got them a big check for $700,000.
Don't take a tiny check for your car wreck. Call the twos.
I'm your go-to guy.
I was barricaded at the Capitol on January 6th. I saw it firsthand. I'm Jordan Wood. We can't go back to a broken system. I can't stand idly by as Trump rips away health care. ICE is terrorizing our streets, and billionaires buy elections. I spent my career defending democracy from election deniers and fighting corporate PACs. We need to take on Trump, beat Paul LePage, and finally deliver Medicare for all. I'm Jordan Wood. I approve this message.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value, season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
We can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
And we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Just mention good old-fashioned Amish cooking to someone and watch their eyes light up. There's something about that that makes us feel all good inside. And although we've shared many Amish-inspired recipes over the years, this casserole is one of our most requested. We start out by adding some flour to a bit of melted butter and stirring it until it's smooth. Once it is, we stir in some chicken broth and milk and heat it until it thickens up. As it's simmering, we season it with a bit of salt and pepper. While that does its thing, we combine some cooked egg noodles, a good amount of rotisserie chicken that we've cut up, sliced mushrooms, and some chopped onion and parsley. Once the sauce is done, pour it over everything and give it a good mix before spooning it into the casserole dish. And before we bake it, we sprinkle it with a little Parmesan. Come dinner time, when you put this out with a farm fresh salad, get ready for everyone to come running. Never mind it's smelling and looking good, the taste is incredible. I hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our Amish chicken casserole. It's one of those recipes that has stood the test of time. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an Amish way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Spring savings are blooming at Color Concepts. Save 20% on Benjamin Moore paints and Hunter Douglas shades for a limited time. Some exclusions apply. Visit us just off the interstate at 840 Hammond Street in Bangor.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home. So skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a fifth-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Spring savings are blooming at Color Concepts. Save 20% on Benjamin Moore paints and Hunter Douglas shades for a limited time. Some exclusions apply. Visit us just off the interstate at 840 Hammond Street in Bangor.
Mentioned at the top of the show, emergency crews are at Robbins Lumber in Searsmont. We have some pictures that we can take you and give you a look at what's happening over there. You know, according to the scanner traffic that we were hearing earlier, the first calls that we were hearing came in a few hours ago, and that was for smoke that was coming from the silo. And we do know that the fire crews responded and that there was some sort of a fire over there. And then when they started fighting the fire, there were reports of an explosion. We don't know exactly the details of what happened, but it sounded like there was what officials are calling a mass casualty incident. And we're hoping to get a look at that picture. So that is the picture that we're seeing. And we know that there are many, many first responders over there right now. And we don't know any details beyond that point. We do know that there were what they're saying is a mass casualty incident over there. We have heard reports of the silo exploding and that medical flights have been called over there also. We do have a reporter over at the scene. She is just arriving, so hopefully there's a live picture right there of what is going on over there. Right now, she is just getting to the scene, so we don't have any details of what exactly has happened, but we do know that emergency responders from multiple towns are on the scene. And Robbins Lumber actually owns and manages about 30,000 acres of its own forest and buys logs from over 150 independent loggers and milling operations. They're located on a 40-acre site in Searsmont on Main Street South. There's some more fire crews arriving on the scene. We know there's a lot going on over there right now, and I imagine that they'd appreciate it if people can avoid that scene if at all possible. As I mentioned, that we do have a reporter over there at the scene, and we have another one that is going to be going over there. We'll have a lot more details and more information will be coming in shortly, and we will hopefully be bringing to you soon. As we know more, we will bring that information to you. We'll go to weather now, and the weekend is looking good. We'll check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, there's that small craft advisory right there that will last until 8 a.m. as we head towards your Saturday along the coast. The wave heights continuing to remain active right now. Look at this, at around 6 feet according to the buoys, and look at this, the whole whole coast actually dealing with this as we speak, and 9 to even 15-foot wave heights being observed at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, here's the rainfall that we are seeing right now, especially in the western parts of the state, and it's not impossible that we're seeing a few rain showers further off towards the east, but it's the western parts seeing the rain now. That's seeing the most drought, so it's good that they're seeing it, but it might be too much in a short amount of time, and we don't want to see too much in a short amount of time. This area low pressure will track off to the east and eventually fizzle out as it does. But meanwhile, here's what we got. Futurecast, again, pushing all of this out of here, and we are going to see a lot of sunshine as we head towards your Saturday, a beautiful way to start off the weekend. And then by Saturday night, you can see a little bit of precipitation that will stay to the north. And then once we head towards our Sunday, the winds pick up out of the north and west, and we'll have some clouds approaching with that too. Additional rainfall looks like this. Again, through Sunday afternoon, some rain to the north. We could see a little bit of additional rainfall for us. A lot of that will be today, and then really it will all begin to back off. Any gusty winds, not a big deal for us today or even into tonight. It will really get going as we head towards your Saturday with those gusty winds picking up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. So for today, we have mid-60s, mostly cloudy, still some rain showers, north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, here we are, mid-40s, partly cloudy and at west breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, the weekend, mid-70s, mostly sunny and breezy, and that west breeze at about 25 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast. Here we are, Sunday, partly cloudy with highs in the upper 70s, and then cooling off a bit, low 70s under a partly cloudy sky for Monday, and then Tuesday, showers and thunderstorms, much warmer though, lower 80s on the way.
Have a good afternoon.
Commercial vehicles can be dangerous, and they usually carry big insurance policies. So whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or a big rig like this, we know commercial vehicle accidents, and we know how to get you the big money you may deserve. If any commercial vehicle hurts you, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you. Call 222-2222.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Half of you watching right now already have cardiovascular disease, and most of you don't even know it. And even more of you watching have high blood pressure, and you might not know that either. In fact, if you're over 55, there's almost an 80% chance you have high blood pressure. That's right. And high blood pressure is no joke because it can kill you. In fact, there's an unfortunate likelihood that it will. But it's not all bad.